Hi guys, and in this tutorial we're going to make ourselves an advanced virtual home server out of our Intel NUC. A virtual server, it allows you to host multiple operating systems on the same physical hardware at the same time. So first of all, you're going to need a bootable operating system. So you're going to need a bootable USB stick with Zen server on it. I will link the tutorial in the video or in the description. Takes 2 minutes and then you'll be ready to go. So once you've got that and you've plugged it in, you should see this screen. This is the Citrix Zen Server boot screen. And whilst it boots, I'll give you a small amount of information on Zen Server. Zen Server works kind of like a headless version of VirtualBox. And using the client Zen Center, you can control everything that's on your Zen server. So now the booting's getting underway. It will come to a load of install options in a minute. But it's pretty quick on the Intel NUC. I don't think it's going to take as long as this video is actually the duration of this video. So we'll get into a few other things whilst we wait for it to load. So like I was saying, Zen Server is very easy to use. You don't need no VNC. You have access straight away. Right, now we have our options. I'm in the UK, so we're going to select UK. When it lets me. Right, so we've selected UK now. And yep. And it's pretty quick. You just read the text and pretty much hit OK every time. It will not ask you anything too difficult. Most of it's IP addresses and things like that. Yes. And we've got to the install already. So I'm just installing the basic package. Later on you can add the rest of it. I personally haven't had a need to add the extended version. This is important. You need to put in a root password. Now, I forgot that it's minimum of 6 characters, and as I was doing this for a YouTube video, I thought I'd chuck in something very simple to remember. But we had to change that, so I stuck in something more complicated. It is important though that you put this in as a complex password, because this will give you control to everything on your Zen server remotely. So we're going to leave all this to be called off the router. And we are in Europe because there's no UK on this list. And hopefully they've got London. Yep, they got London. Yep. And install. It's a very simple installer. It doesn't really take very long. So what kind of things will we be using Zen for after the Zen server after we've installed it? I personally may run a Minecraft server on it. I don't play Minecraft, but a friend of mine has suggested that I give it a go. So being that you can switch virtual boxes in and out and stop and start them at will, I might install it on one and give it a test run and see exactly whether I like it or not. But more importantly, you could use this virtual home server for things like web servers, mail servers, cloud storage, just general multi-purpose use. I've seen them used in the past for labs, so for testing software and testing malware. as well as things like video rendering, game servers. Pretty much anything you can do in a virtual box, you can do on Zen server, and it doesn't tax your local machine because it's running remotely. So if you have something and you say don't want it lagging your computer, and it's just a general task, you can set a virtual box up for it, chuck it in the virtual box, and leave it running and continue what you're doing on your machine. It also gives you the option that if, say, you no longer want to run this server or this operating system, because it does come with an interface, so you can see the screen. You don't need to install any extra software to see the screen on your remote virtual box. So you could always use it as, an extra desktop, things along them lines. I personally will probably end up using this just for personal use, so I'm thinking about sticking a My Cloud on there, or Own Cloud, maybe a Git repository, other things along them lines, maybe a few test beds, test platforms, or you could just use it to test operating systems that you haven't used before. Once you stop and start the machines, when you stop them, they don't use any resources up, and when you want it, you can just start it back up again. So this is taking some while to actually copy the files over. So I will cut the video out now, and I will come back in a minute. Right, so we're back now, and the install is getting right towards the end. It did take a little longer than I expected. I'm sure it didn't take this long on my other Intel NUCs, but they are all the same model, so it should take, in theory, the same amount of time. Right, so the install bar has just finished, and it's now prompting us to remove the media device. So just unplug your USB stick. I'm going to unplug the screen. The capture card will keep recording for probably for about 30 seconds after I've unplugged the screen. So you'll see the start of the boot of Zen server. You don't need the screen attached. In fact, all I have attached normally is the Ethernet and the power lead, and that's it. So we're now jumping back into the reboot, and that is all that's needs to be done on the server side. So we will jump straight into the Windows bit. You will need to go to your Windows laptop, or your laptop or your desktop, whatever you're using. The link to the Zen Center is in the description. And now we're on my machine. Now we're on my personal machine. You can see I already have Zen Center installed. I already have machines active. So we're just going to use the IP address that we know that the Zen server is sitting on, the new Zen server in my case, and the root password that we just set the server to. I'm using a very long one. And we're going to wait for it to connect. And it has connected, and there is our new Zen server, ready to take virtual boxes. In another video, I will show you how to export virtual machines from VirtualBox to your Zen server. I'm just quickly renaming the Zen server to something I want, because localhost just doesn't cut it for me. I have more than one running, and it would just get confusing. So yes, in the next tutorial we will probably show you how to export a pre-built virtual client that's in VirtualBox, pack it up and export it ready for the use in Zen. So as you can see, I'm messing around with the with the create a new virtual box. You can do that straight from here. But until next time, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button.